Hello and welcome everyone. So in this video we will look at another front-end interview problem. So this time we will be creating our own custom instance of method. So if we go to our official docs, we can see that instance of methods takes in an object and a constructor. Object is the one that we want to test whether the object is an instance of this constructor, and constructor takes in like a class. You can make a class or you can make a function object. You can make anything. So yeah, so we will need an object and we'll need a constructor to test against whether this object is an instance of or is derived from this constructor. So like let's try to understand with example. Suppose we create a class P and we create a class Q that extends P. Now, since Q extends P, that means Q has a super constructor. Q has a super that takes in or that extends the constructor of P. So if I derive an object from Q and check, so Q is an instance of Q since we derived from it, but Q is also an instance of P here because Q was extending P. Right. And Q is obviously an instance of object because we are creating an object here. Now we create a function R and we check whether Q is an instance of R. So Q is not an instance of R because there is no relation between Q and R at this point. But now we assign the R's prototype to Q's prototype. So since we are assigning R's prototype to Q's prototype, then that means Q will also be an instance of, so the small q will also become an instance of R. The small cube will also become an instance of R. So this time it will return true. Now we remove R prototype to an empty object. So here it will return false. So let's try to code this out. So since this has to be an object, so first we will check whether this object exists or it is actually an object. So if either of this is not the case, then we'll just return false. Now we'll take in an object prototype, which will be object dot get prototype of object. Now we will take target prototype. Target prototype, since it's a constructor, it will be target dot prototype. Now we check if object proto is equal to target proto. If it is, we return true that yes, object is an instance of target. Else, we recursively call this instance of method. Call this instance of method, and now we'll pass in object proto this time instead of object, and we'll just pass in target. So what actually we need to check while checking whether this is an instance of this is whether Q or whether Q's prototype lies inside the prototype chain of capital Q. So this is what we need to check. So since if Q's prototype does not lie or is not equal to capital Q's prototype, then we'll check prototypes of prototype. We'll check the prototype of Q's prototype and check whether in the entire prototype chain of Q, small q, it equals to capital Q's prototype. If it equals to capital Q prototype, then that means yes, this is an instance of this, else this is not an instance of this. So now if I run this, save this and refresh this, I can see it is working. It has given me the output that is expected. So yeah, this was it for today. Hope you liked the video, and I'll see you in next one.